like, you know, you're talking about earlier how people bring up tweets from like months or years ago, even. Like people still like bring up tweets I said where I was like, "There's no way Xbox will get rid of their exclusives and stuff like that." But it's just like shit happens, you know. Things have changed now, so yeah. Time is a linear construct. Things change. That is what happens with the passage of time. But we'll see.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and yes, this is your second dose of your weekly salty batch files, because boy, do we have some serious salt here, and we have some good ones at that. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. All right, so like I was saying, we're going to start off right away here. A lot of good salty content right from the salt mines themselves, but we'll pull up our first one here, SanjJitsu Sage. Now, he hasn't been featured for a little bit at least in my recent memory, but anyways, as you can see, heads up, anybody I see seriously entertaining any possibility of Activision Games being locked behind Game Pass Ultimate is being blocked. It's so stupid, I can't even stand to read the mere suggestion. You've been warned. So yes, SanjJitsu, now we know, first of all, take a quick pause. We know now that certain Activision games or Activision, avenues, we'll say, in regards to Call of Duty, in regards to campaign or multiplayer or however that works, there's going to be some gates being held, right? So there's things being locked between different tiers. There's a lot of changes that have recently happened. This person did not want to hear any of it. He didn't think it would happen. He also is one of those prime candidates that says Redfall is one of the best games of all time and he can't stop playing it. Everybody has their own opinion. However, we know that that's quite down in the minority side of things when you think Redfall is a great game. But just to give you some context into his insight of how he thinks, how this individual operates. But they sit there and they shill. They farm that, they do whatever they want in hopes that you listen to that, in hopes that just because they speak something into existence that it's not going to happen or that it will happen in regards to maybe another instance. But he's so popular apparently. I mean, he has a decent amount of followers, I'll give him that, but he's so popular apparently that if you even entertain ideas like this or say that Redfall is a garbage game, much like I did myself, hence, raise of hands here, show of hands. I am also blocked by this individual, but again, the stupidity leaks and is shared all over. It lives on the internet forever, that sort of thing. But he's been warned that he's an idiot, and continues to be warned that he's an idiot. So there you have it. But let's keep going on here. I do like this example. We got to get back to Cold Eastwood. He loves to be featured in every video now, guys. I mean, he just can't stop himself. He really can't. So Tio, ain't no way you're coming at anybody for making excuses and asking for better with your track record in regards to the context of all of his lies, in regards to Cold Eastwood and everything he stated, everything he's been wrong about, everything that he does almost on a daily basis, hence why he's always featured on this channel. So he apparently breaks mask, sheds that off a little bit. Shut the F up, you have zero clue. No, I think we all have a clue on how you work and how you operate, Colt. It doesn't end there, doesn't ever end there, and I love the fact that you finally break again, and I'm sure this was followed by a block shortly afterwards, so the gentleman could read your response, followed by your block, because again, soft as tissue paper. So he's just pointing out a fact. The fact that you can't take that speaks volumes. I get blocks, and it happens. They sit there and say something stupid. It's a rhetoric. It doesn't add anything to value. If you get called out and it's legit truth, time you own it, move on, don't say anything about it, whatever the case is. You clearly broke, and that's how we have it here. Now, in regards to a shift in the narrative for a moment here, as we mentioned previously and recently, that Game Pass has gone through a bunch of different changes. It's gone through removals of day one Game Pass games. There's confusing changes. If you're a new subscriber to Game Pass on certain tiers, you're not going to have day ones. It's, the price is increased and all this sort of stuff. They've added a different tier. They changed the name, this and that and the other, right? That doesn't stop the general consensus of the Xbox fanboys, the cultists, to go ahead and shill and fraud and do what they do. So Jamie Moron, yes, I know it's Moran, but we like to call him Moron because, I mean, how similar is that spelling though? You can literally say moron. You can pronounce the A as on. I know there should be an H after that, perhaps, regardless. Anyways, let's go. As with any service, he states, I look at it as a value proposition. Xbox Game Pass is worth it for me because of the ridiculous amount of content coming. Then there's the perks too. Prices going up in general aren't good, but it's still worth it, and you get day one games. So again, I understand that he mentions that it's not good, but he quick gloss over, right? And we can all say any price increase sucks for the consumer. Whether it's justified in any sort of way is always up for debate. However, him just glossing that over, and he looks at it as a value proposition. The value you're not getting in the long term. Much like we've been stating multiple times, you have to buy your games. Renting them is not the option, is not the best choice of options. It may be the only option for certain individuals. I understand income-based stuff. I totally do. This isn't shaming any of that. What this is stating is that the industry itself is not going to be sustained along with the top quality games if we're doing something in regards to a sub-service. This is only going to continue to increase in price. It's only going to come with a bunch of different caveats and everything as we've continued to see. So for you to sit there and just gloss over it, as usual, and a value proposition, I see so many people, so many gamers that are subscribed to Xbox Game Pass that do not put in the time, right? I've said this before, but you do not put in the time versus the time you sub, right? The time played versus the time you sub. You're not getting everything out of it. Well, if I just beat 3 games a year that were technically $70, then it pays for itself, right? Well, yes and no, right? Yes, you played through the game, you got your experience, but if you ever wanted to revisit that game, why not just buy it? Well, I could buy it at a cheaper price. It doesn't matter if you buy it at a cheaper price. You can play other games. Games go on sale regardless. You don't have to have Game Pass Ultimate in order to get a sale price. Those games go on sale regardless. Period. The end. To gloss over this, going back to the core of this, glossing over it, there's perks, there's this and that, it's okay. Guys, it's okay. Follow me. Believe me, it's okay that they increase the price because the value is there. How about you be honest with yourself, and the fans in Microsoft or Xbox would not be in the position of being mainly and heading towards a third-party publishing platform. Much akin to what Sega ended up doing. It's going to happen. Odds are it's going to happen. If it doesn't, great. More competition in the industry is good, but odds are it's leaning towards that's going to happen. Hardware is going to cease to exist. It's all about Game Pass, and it's all about getting money and sales on any platform it can. End of story. Let's keep going here. Now, I wanted to give a quick break in between. I like to go back to back, but SanjJitsu, since he's been away for a little bit, we'll bring him up again. The price increase to Game Pass is likely designed to help Microsoft cover the costs they will need to pay Ubisoft to bring Activision Games to Xbox Cloud. Remember, per the CMA agreement, Microsoft sold those rights to Ubisoft and has to then buy back access. So, again, more excuses. Folks, it's okay. It's likely due to this, that, and the other for the reason. It's okay. It makes it completely A-okay that Microsoft has done this because they've spent money, because they've implemented this and that. There's always an excuse to sit there and follow. Be careful, again, who you follow. Be careful of the information you're getting from. This is not okay. This is not going to work out for you in the long run. There's not going to be 10 years from now. You're looking back and you're like, well, I played these games via Game Pass. I don't own any of them. I have zero ownership of any of these games that I thoroughly enjoyed. I understand sometimes it can introduce you to new games that you may not have tried it in another aspect that you're going to go out there and just purchase it on a whim. I get that. That's why I think game demos and trials need to be a thing. Absolutely. That's going to help out tremendously because you don't need to play through an entirety of the game in order to be like, well, now I want to buy it. I think if you get an hour or two with the game, That's more than fine. That needs to make a comeback big time. I think that's also going to increase software sales as well, in my opinion. Not all this crap of sub-services. This just is not it, man. And so for someone like SanjJitsu here, again, to sit there and gloss over it, which has been the main theme of everything here. But good Lord, I digress, man. I digress there. It's pretty crazy. Now, let's shift over here real quick because, man, Goat Gaming, he doesn't stop here. We got some more FUD. He's been called out recently, like we just shown in a previous video, right? He states, developing Xbox Era and Tom Warren have hinted this morning at Xbox P3 and Xbox have a secret project. The monumental announcement will be soon, and it will change gaming forever. PlayStation has no current announcement coming except a price increase, Herman Hulse said. Clearly, all this is incorrect except for one of the devs stating there's a secret game, basically, a secret project going on. I don't know for sure if it's even a game. They haven't announced what's going on or what that, is considering. So, and as you can see at the bottom here, Tom Warren, don't you get bored of making this shit up? So called out by one of his own. Finally, again, Tom has me blocked. Also, again, soft as tissue paper. He can dish it, but he can't take it kind of thing. But I have to give him props here in regards to him stating this as well. Don't you get bored of making shit up. And you think you would, because he's on there multiple times all day, every day. He has actually a pretty decent following, this Goat Gaming Cloudman here. And it's just crazy to me that he's not as community noted. I mentioned this before. He's not as community noted as he should be. I find that odd. That's definitely a flaw because any casual that goes in here and happens to come across this because the algorithm pushes it up or whatever, they aren't going to know any better. I work with people all the time. I have a bunch of casual friends that don't know the ins and outs of doing anything, even with a gaming console. And, so I try to provide insight. I try to help as I can, but I guarantee you, if somebody like that came across a post like this, it is definitely damaging, not only for Sony or Xbox, but just gaming in general. It can be very damaging. It's damaging in a lot of ways. And I mean, he does this stuff because he's ultimately salty. This is why it's a Salty Batch Files. They do this because they try to put another brand in a limelight by creating a false narrative, which they like to do, or just sweep things under the rug. Simple as that. Now, I just want to give a quick shout out here. This isn't a salty post. It kind of is because they had enough of Microsoft's BS, but nonetheless, the crap gamer is depressed here. The crap gamer stating a bunch of facts here, so I will at least give him that, but here we go. It kind of is what it is, but I can't see how anyone has positive thoughts about Xbox currently. They're putting exclusives on PlayStation. They advertise more that you can play Xbox without a console far more than they've advertised the actual console. Might pull out of Europe entirely. Raising prices on Game Pass in a super confusing way. 7+ months into this year and only one first-party release. Console Game Pass is like $8 more per month than PC. It really comes across like they hate their own console. They gave some decent-looking games, but the messaging is piss poor at best. So finally, Crap Gamer again comes around. He did this before. He flopped over. If you're unfamiliar with him, he used to be a huge Xbox guy. Huge. And then he flopped because he had enough of their bullcrap, so he flopped over to PlayStation for a few years. And then, whatever reason, he decided to shit all over PlayStation again and go right back to Xbox and tried to shill and fraud and implement and this, that, and the other the whole time until just recently. I would say the past 4 months. He's finally been putting posts like this. He's still supporting them, still is a fan, still wants to do things, but at least he's being honest. So I can give some kudos to that here and there. But why he should be surprised is beyond me. Xbox hasn't changed from when he flipped over to PlayStation the first time and then went back to Xbox again for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know what PlayStation wasn't giving. If you're already on the PlayStation ecosystem, it's super, super rare you're going to flop back over to the Xbox ecosystem to be your main platform of choice. I find that super odd, and it just comes to the fact that I think he wasn't getting quite the interactions and feedback and revenue and audience through the PlayStation ecosystem that he once did through Xbox. So I think he went back due to that fact there, knowing he could garner a lot of I'm going to say it because it's true. A lot of sheep, a lot of a cult status following, because you can do that for whatever reason. It seems to be the case the most with the Xbox ecosystem, Xbox fanboys. That just tends to pay the bills for them, it looks like. And, you know, that being said, I don't want to make the video entirely too long. I do have a video I am saving as an example. I will save for the next Salty Batch Files, because this is going to take some dissecting, if you will. So just a little preview what you'll be expecting for the following week's Salty Batch Files. I think it's going to be a good example, and we have a good talking point to that. That being said, thanks again for sticking around for the entirety of the video. If you did, definitely leave a like and comment. Would love to hear from you. Of course, both those things also help out the algorithm. On top of that, if you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing. That does help out a small content creator like myself, and I do love to get the facts out there and have some fun with these crazy ass posts. So again, thank you. We are getting so close to the 2,000 subscriber goal. So thank you, every single one of you out there. Could not do it without you. You give that drive, that oomph, that passion to know that we're doing something right here. So thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. And just remember, don't be a salty batch. And we'll see y'all next time on the next Xvault gaming video. And until then, take care.